As the plant manager, or Mark, identifies that per work order, all of the materials have been received, he's going to move it into the production Kanban. One of the things that Energy is working on is an automated way to flag the card that all of the materials have been received. Right now, it's a pretty manual step for Mark to do, is to actually go in and see that we have all those materials. In the future, if we have an automated way that they're either stock and in stock, or that purchase order has been received, basically that will help us with our full kitting process. When I moved it over, you can see that I got an error that says, hey, there's either some materials that haven't been bought or some labor costs that the project manager didn't approve. Are you sure that you want to override it and move to production ready? I'm going to say yes, I do, because right now we're not totally performing that step, plus this is a sample. So I'm going to say yes. It's now going to be sitting in the production Kanban, which allows the guys on the floor to clock into it. So when they clock into an activity, they would come in here and click Start New Activity, work on a bid or work order. Mark, I believe, has already made sure that all of the workstations out there are set to show production ready only, which means that they are going to only show items that are in the production Kanban step or the accounting Kanban step. And I need to do a better job of closing out the accounting, but we're not yet billing. When we do, it'll become more automated, and these will fall off at a steady pace as I start billing through the system. Anyways, I would click on that I want to log into 613 Copy Room, and if you scroll all the way down, it gives you the activity centers that you would click into. So let's say I wanted to sign into the machining center, I'd click on it, and I'd be good to go. If it doesn't exist there, sometimes you can say I want to add a labor item. So I would say, hey, you know what, Dan and the project manager and everybody else missed that there's some millwork included in this work order. So I'm going to go ahead and sign into the millwork category, which I'd have to find. There it is. So I'd say, yeah, I want to sign into the millwork category. Right now, we're not really interested in doing that, but in the future, it'll be something that'll be important. So forgetting the kiosk, forgetting signing in and out of the kiosk, that one of the steps for Mark to do before it hitting the production floor is to approve the usage of the material in order to make sure that we pull material out of our inventory. So in order to do that, when he begins to start a project, probably one of the first things that he'd want to do is, if he sees a project in scheduling, he'd move it to production, click on the production, find the work order, open that work order, and then he'll probably want to print the work order packet, as we would call it. In order to do that, he's going to come over here and go to Export as PDF. He'll say, I want to print all of this stuff, and I'm just going to show you kind of what it looks like. So this is the work order cover sheet with some notes and instructions, which would be very similar to what Steve currently prints out of Vista, is the job traveler. The next sheet is all of the items that are going to be included in the shipment. You can see these were the items that I used to estimate, and there is an option for the project manager to hide those items. And then these are all of the items that were actually brought over from Microvellum. And then these are all the materials that were approved to use. You got some information here that shows that this comes from stock. And then here's the labor items that they can clock into. Down the road, we'll be clocking in using QR scanners. We don't have those yet, and I'm not too concerned with when we're going to do that. It's kind of on the back burner. So anyways, Mark would print that, and he would probably go put it in the basket for machining. Now, part of our goal moving forward is that we have one packet that is printed and it flows through the shop. There is some discussion about how we will handle that if it goes from machining through to different areas of the shop, and we need multiple people working on it at the same time. However, right now, most of what I see is that if it goes from machining to custom, or if it goes from machining to edge banding to assembly, it typically follows one flow. I think it's relatively rare that it would get dispersed amongst custom and assembly. So it's one of the things that we need to work on when we relay out the shop in the assembly area. It's one of the things that I definitely want to discuss. It's a goal for us moving forward. Also encompassed in that, when he goes ahead and prints the production work order, a lot of times he will need to come into inventory, and he'll need to go to material requests. Now, this would be the flag that utilizes our material. And I apologize, I'm telling you to go to the wrong place. I would need to go to production. I would need to go to request materials, and I need to find that work order. And right now, I'm not able to find that work order, but let's say, and I think it's because I have it set to view not enough items, but let's go ahead and try to find our test job. There it is, so 613 copy room. Now, these are the materials that are associated with that work order. So if I'm Mark, I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, I need that, I need that, I need that, and I need that. Now, down the road, and coming up very soon, we're going to be using Bluecell, and Bluecell should give us information that Microvellum uploaded that, hey, we need 6 sheets of white melamine. But Bluecell only used 5, and it used a piece of scrap. We have to identify how we're going to communicate that between engineering and the shop. Bluecell will handle most of that, but we need to make sure Mark is included so that when he goes in, he can say, hey, I don't want to request 6 sheets, I want to request 5. So anyways, he'll say request selected, and then he'll say, okay, I'm going to change that to 5, blah, blah, blah. The other option is once he requests it, when he goes to fulfill it, he can say that we only used 5. He needs to put in a delivery location. Most of the time, the material is going to go to the CNC. We can talk about how this is set up for bigger companies, but anyways, there you go. He requested it. He's going to create the request, and what I just did is probably going to screw up our inventory a little bit. And then most of the time, he's going to come into see requested materials. He's going to select everything, and he's going to say close request, which means he fulfilled them. And that's actually pulling that material from our inventory. That's a very important step so that our inventory stays on track and we order material as we need it. Right now, I'm going to go to cancel request because I don't want to actually use those material. I'm going to say yes, proceed. So that is fulfilling, that's ordering material and fulfilling material requests.